be showing you how to get this pageantry look. Is it a pageantry look? It's just a makeup look, but you know what I mean. So I've been getting a couple of requests, mainly my sister Ruth, who is Mrs. Galaxy UK at the moment. I'm so proud of her for winning, but I did her makeup for the competition, and I also did a bunch of other people's makeup. It was my first time working at a pageant, but I have been doing makeup now for about 4.5 years. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a really good opportunity for me to show you guys how I do pageantry makeup, what I do to make it last, just all the tips and tricks that I do, and my kind of go-to look on clients when they don't know what they want, or they just want a stage look, what I would recommend. This is the type of look I'd recommend because it is glam, but it isn't trying too hard. And yeah, I'm going to show you how to create this look today. I'm going to stop rambling now and let's get into the video. I've already got my foundation down. I have like a full coverage, how to make your foundation last. That is my most recent video. I'll link it down there if you want to look at more the skin side of things and really focus on what you want to do to make sure the foundation lasts and get a full coverage and everything. I wouldn't actually recommend doing your foundation first. I would actually do your eyes first, but I'm filming another video for this foundation, so that is why I already have my foundation done. But I would definitely say start with eyes, just because if you have any fallout, if there's any mess anywhere, you don't need to worry about it because you haven't done your skin. So you just wipe up underneath with a little wipe and then you're good to go. The main thing I would say for you to do is get heavy duty products that are going to last you, because if you're getting ready in the morning and then you've got to make it last till the evening because you're only really going to touch up, you're not going to have time to redo the whole look. So for eyebrows, I always like to use a pomade. If you do have really thick and full eyebrows anyway, you can just use a brown eyeshadow that matches your skin. I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. This is like £15. It's not too expensive. You can get it on Beauty Bay. It's really good product. So for the brows, I just use an angled brush. This is actually from Zoeva. It's just their 317. This is actually for wing liner. I know my eyelids look hella disgusting right now. It's just staining from eyeshadow. I don't think you want to go too light, but I also don't think you want to look like someone's like slapped it on your face. So I do get rid of most of the pomade on the back of my hand. I have got a full brow tutorial as well, which I can link below. So I just draw little lines just with a really light hand. And you want to make sure you have a spoolie. This is like essential because I put a little bit of product in and then blend it out with this. So if you go a little bit too heavy handed, you can just be like, oh, just get rid of some of that. So near the front, then I will actually draw little hair-like strokes, just starting from the root of the hair and swiping up. And then I just brush through that. And now I do actually go in to sharpen that area up. So now I haven't picked up any more product, but still got the same amount that I used at the beginning. And I'm just really carving out the shape I have. So now I'm just picking up a little bit more product. And then when we get to around here, I start kind of drawing little hair-like strokes. And you know what I've realised recently? My eyebrows are actually quite short, so I do actually now extend them a little bit. I just bring them, just make sure you're not like curving it round because that's not going to be flattering. You want it like elongated. So I just kind of bring them down a little bit. Just now you can see I've got like sparseness here. That's not a cute look. We want to connect everything together, so I'm just connecting that. Right, now the other eyebrows on, I'm gonna carve them out with the Maybelline Erase Paste. To be honest, I jump around in terms of what concealer I use to carve out the eyebrows. I pretty much just use whatever I have to hand. So if you like a concealer, I just use that. I use the Zoeva 322 brush, which is just a flat top brush. It looks like this. So I just put it on the back of my hand and then I just carve out the shape. And make sure you bring the concealer round here because people tend to get darkness around here and you just want to make sure you conceal all of that before you do your eye makeup. And just be really slow with this part because you do really want it to be nice and a clean line. That is what's going to make your eyebrows really pop. And then I actually paint over the whole lid, but just to get rid of any discoloration you have on your eye. So once that's all on, I now need to buff that out. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. And it's just a round kind of fluffy brush. And just be really careful that you don't go over the eyebrow. So you can kind of be rough around here. But then when I get up here, I'm really like pushing it in kind of placing it down and then pulling it down like that. And then you're not actually moving the line you created right at the top there. And I do really like this AG Wine concealer, but it does dry a little bit quickly, so I would do one eye at a time if you use this specific concealer. Right, the next thing that I do in my eyebrows and the last step is soap. I've got a whole brow routine, so you can see why I choose to use soap and all of that, but basically I just get a little bit of water on here. You get like the soap scud and then you run it through your eyebrows like you would like an eyebrow mascara. I would actually recommend the Urban Decay priming potion, just an original, to prime the eyelids. Alternatively, if you're on more of a budget, I would recommend the Rimmel Magnifi Eyes primer. Now I do like this eye primer, but I do find it dries really quickly and it can go patchy if you don't blend it out quickly or well enough. So I'd say for like beginners in makeup, I would honestly just spend the money and get the priming potion. Now I'm gonna go into the palettes that I really, really love and stand by. This Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills is just a go-to. There's so many nice shades in here. There's pink shades, there's red shades, there's golds, there's browns. You can create so many looks with this. I can't even tell you how much I use this while I'm working at pageants or just clients in general. I also love the Naked Ultimate Basics palette. I find this to be not as pigmented, but there's no fallout with this, so it doesn't matter if you do your skin first. It's got a nice black, which you always need. It's got a good lid shades. Yeah, I love these two palettes. So for this look, I am actually going to use both of these two palettes. You can just use one. If you don't want to spend the money, I would recommend NYX eyeshadows. I don't actually have any with me today, but their eyeshadows do tend to be pretty good and they do last a long time and they're affordable. But I mean, I do think with eyeshadows you normally get what you pay for. Morphe are really good, but you have to build them up. So yeah, I'm going to set the lid with the PS Instagirl Rice Powder from Primark, and I'm just going to set the lid. Any powder will do. You can use translucent powder, you can use a white eyeshadow, just whatever your preferred preference is. So right, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use Burnt Orange and Raw Sienna. This is the Morphe M441. Once I pushed it in, then I will start to kind of swipe, but I do normally just push that colour into the eye first just to get the first layer of pigment down. And we bring this pretty much all the way in, but don't start bringing it really in here because that's not going to look very flattering. And now I'm kind of doing circular motions back and forth. Once the general colour is down, then I start kind of opening my eyes and looking to see where I want it, because you can see that I actually bring my eyeshadow up quite high because my eyelids are slightly hooded. I need to bring everything up a little bit higher. So if you have hooded eyelids like me, definitely you want to bring the colour almost up to your eyebrow. When I've got fresh product on my brush, I'll place it here, you know, rub it a couple of times and then start blending it upwards. You never want to put your brush in the product and put it straight kind of up here because it's going to be really difficult to blend. And with me, I always like to wing out my eyeshadow. I would recommend you do the same pretty much regardless of what eye shape you have. Always nice to kind of wing it out because it's going to give you that really kind of bigger, it's going to make your eyes look bigger basically. And just you want to kind of go from the bottom of your lash line here up like that. This is the MAC 217. It's just a slightly smaller blending brush. So you want to get a little bit more of a precise brush. And now we're going into the Naked Ultimate Basics palette and we're going to mix Faith and Lockout. So we're just opening our eyes to see where we want to place the product. Place majority of it in the crease and then we'll start blending up. These are just a really nice mid-tone browns. They're not too warm. So I'm just pushing that shade in first like I did with the other one. Really packing on the pigment, and then once I've popped the pigment on, I'll then start blending it out and winging it out. I do feel like in-depth tutorials like this can be a little bit boring to watch, but I just want to explain everything I'm doing properly so you can actually learn and, do you know what I mean, get something out of the video as opposed to just watching someone do their makeup, because I love watching makeup tutorials. But I like people explaining what they're actually doing whilst they're doing it, if that makes sense. Just so you can actually recreate the look. And I kind of do a mixture of looking down into my mirror with my eyes fully open so I can see what's going on. And you can see how there's a bit of lump of pigment there. Leave that alone until you've gotten rid of most of the product off of your brush in other areas of your eye. And then go back to it. Now, you can see that I need to bring it up just a little bit higher because it's not... yeah, it's just not up high enough. And I'm just going to place it into my crease. But then whilst there's still quite a fair amount of pigment on my brush, I'm just going to open my eyes and look to see where I want to bring it, just comparing it to the other eye I did. So like I said, you just want to do a mixture of opening your eyes to see what it looks like with your eyes open, because majority of the time on stage you're going to be looking at the judges, you're not going to have your eyes closed, you're not really going to be looking down that much, so you really want to focus on how it looks with your eyes open as opposed to looking down / closed. And now we're going to use Cypress Amber. Honestly, this is so dark and really pigmented. You don't want to pick up a lot on your brush. Like literally I teensy tiny bit in and then take it straight out, and then I tap off most of it, because otherwise you're going to end up with a big really dark smoky eye. So then now I'm basically just pushing this right into the socket of my eye. I just want to darken that area and just put it along here as well. And I do bring this pretty much all the way in, but I only really start doing that once most of the product is off my brush already. So it should look something like that. And now we're going to pop some concealer on the lid. I'm just grabbing this on a Krylon brush. It's just a flat top concealer brush. To be honest, any concealer brush will do. Now I basically open my eyes to look to see where my eye, so you see how I've basically just drawn a line of concealer and I open my eyes, because then it's going to transfer. Because if you put a shimmer shade on your lid lower down, open your eyes, that shimmer shade is then going to transfer to the top of your lid. So I basically open my eyes to do this part, and then I just paint on a little bit of concealer, and then I just grab my finger and I just blend the edges. And the reason why I put the concealer down is because it's slightly tacky. When you put on the shimmer shade, it's just going to really stick to it. It's going to make it more pigmented and just look nicer and pop more. So I'm going to add Primavera, I can't say it, this shade from the Anastasia palette. And I actually put this on my finger, so I just pat the shimmer shade down. So I'm just pushing that on. If you were to leave it like that, there's like no blending here, if you know what I mean. So I always like to put another shade down on the lid, another shimmer shade. I'm actually going to use Antique Bronze from the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. It's slightly metallic, but it's just a really nice brown and it's quite dark. So what I'm going to do is that's just going to blend the two shades together. Right, now I'm going to add a little bit of that Cypress Amber, that really, really dark brown. And I'm just going to add it right here in the outer V. And then whatever's left, just make sure you haven't got a lot of product. You just want to go in and just blend that shimmer into the matte shade, just to make sure it looks nice and soft. Now, I couldn't recommend these pigments enough. This is the Inglot pigment in shade 45. It's called Body Sparkle Brilliance. Okay, so what I actually do to put this on is I get just a little flat top concealer brush and I spray it with some setting spray. Any setting spray will do, or water if you don't have setting spray. And you pick up a really, really, really small amount and make sure you tap off the excess. And then I just push it into the eye. Applying it wet means it's going to adhere to the eye better and it's going to stay on better. If you apply it dry, it's more likely to fall down and fall onto your foundation, which you don't want. So just make sure you go really light-handed with this. Build it up slowly. Don't just pile loads on at once, because then it's more likely to fall onto your foundation. We're just going to grab Blackout from the Ultimate Basics palette. And what we're going to do, we're just going to smoke out just here, just a little bit. The reason why I say do foundation after is you can see I've got some fallout. Right, so I'm going to finish off my skin on camera because I want to show you what I do for everything else. So I'm just going to add some concealer. Now, concealer is one of those things that's really down to personal preference, what works for your skin type, because it depends if you have oily or dry skin. So I would definitely just say use a concealer that works for your skin. I really could recommend a lot of different concealers. So you can tell I've got a little bit of darkness, so I'm just going to correct that. So if you have darkness, I go like one shade darker than your actual skin tone, and that will conceal the darkness and then lighten it up with a lighter concealer, because if you just put a light concealer straight on, you're likely to look grey and it's not actually going to cover your dark circles. So I'm going in with Makeup Revolution C11, which you can see is a little bit darker than my skin tone, and I do actually put a little bit around my mouth as well. I just blend that out with a beauty blender. I just realised I've had foundation lips for the whole video. I'm really sorry about that. Whoopsie. Now, I find this concealer to be a little bit drying, but I feel like it does hold really well. so I would highly recommend it. I'm gonna go back into that Maybelline Erase Paste just underneath my eyes just to highlight. And then I don't actually swipe, I tend to push in the concealer just because I feel like if I'm swiping then I'm going to move product. A little bit of reverse contouring, just go underneath that contour here. We have yet to actually contour, but you know what I'm saying, underneath the cheekbones. And I do think it's nice to have quite a bright under eye, not too bright, but I do think it looks more flattering, especially under stage lights. You don't want to look pasty though, so make sure you are contouring as well. I'll show you what I do to contour in a minute. But yeah, I would definitely say lighten underneath your under eyes a little bit, just to give it that really nice bright effect. See, by the time I got to my mouth, the concealer's quite dry, so I would maybe say work in sections if you are a little bit slower at blending. Let me know if you like these in-depth videos. I'm not sure how I feel about them because I feel like they're a little bit long and a little bit boring, but let me know what you think. I know my energy can seem quite low in them, but it's because I'm like concentrating on what I'm doing and I'm like trying to make sure I say everything that I'm doing, so I feel like I come across a little bit boring. Right now, I would definitely say cream contour if you have time. I use the Naked Skin concealer from Urban Decay. I like this concealer. I'm in the shade Dark Golden. I really like this concealer because it's really easy to blend and it's like quite thin. It doesn't really add that much coverage. It just kind of adds colour, which I quite like. I don't want something that's like super full coverage to contour with because you don't need the coverage. You've already got foundation down. Do you know what I mean? You've got everything down that you've put. You want quite a densely packed brush for creamed contour just to make sure everything blends out really nicely. I kind of do pushing motions and then also swiping motions with cream contour. If you don't know where your bone structure is, suck in your face like this. And then you can kind of draw the lines there. You just want to make sure you're not doing it too high or too low. So I'm just blending, going over that with my sponge. Another great contour if you don't want to spend the money on the Urban Decay one, what are they called? My Perfect Colour Concealer Stick from Primark. It's 90p. I know I say this every single time in all my videos, but 90p is, it's ridiculous. Okay, now what I like to do is I like to get a really, really, really pale concealer. So I'm just using the Fit Me in shade 5 and I just put a little bit, just not even under the eye, just like here, because I feel like that little bit of brightness there just looks really nice. So just add a little bit. But you know the drill, I'm just gonna use a little bit of pink lipstick on my damp sponge and just do a little bit of blush with it. Next, I'm just going to set the under eyes. This is something you don't want to skip. I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. This powder has changed my life. So I'm actually just going to look up and make sure you just get rid of any creasing you have underneath the eye before you set it, because you don't want to set those creases into place. So I actually concentrate the powder here and then I start working up the eye. I don't go straight in with loads of powder right next to the eye. So I start here and then work my way up. Because I've noticed putting a lot of powder really close to the eye, it's just not flattering. You tend to look a little bit older. And I do concentrate it around my smile lines and around my mouth. If you have oily skin, I'd recommend doing this to your whole face. So just adding a little bit and then literally baking your whole entire, well, this isn't technically baking, but setting your whole face in this way. Obviously I don't have oily skin, so I don't feel the need to do that. But if you do, I would definitely say do this all over your face. And I do actually do sometimes just a tiny bit over my eyebrows just to set them in place. A great alternative for this if you don't want to spend the money is the RCMA No Colour Powder. I do just find this is a little bit nicer and a little bit softer, and the tone of it is a little bit warmer as opposed to the Laura Mercier one. Next I'm going into the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This powder is a dream, honestly. I'm in the shade 2 and I'm basically just going to set my whole entire face. Now, I don't actually do this for the everyday, but for a pageant, you definitely want to set everything in place because you want it to last, and powders and pushing everything into your skin is really going to help everything last. A great alternative for this is the PS Instagirl rice powder from Primark. That powder is also amazing. This one's just incredible because it looks really nice in photograph. Next, to bronze up my skin, I'm going in with the Milani Sole Bronzer. It has slight effects of, I don't know, shimmer in it. So because it's a little bit shimmery, I feel like it looks really nice on stage, in photographs. It's not going to make you look dead. I also love the Benefit Hoola Bronzer, so if you have that, I would say use that as well. I'm just going to use this for today's video. Now for pageants, I would always go a little bit tanner because you tend to look a lot more pale on stage than you do in real life. Absolutely love MAC blushes. I couldn't recommend them enough. I'm actually going to use Melba blush from MAC. To be honest, just use whatever blusher you're happy with. I just find MAC blushes really, really soft on the skin. I'm going to go back to that Laura Mercier and I'm just going to cut my cheekbones. Nothing you haven't seen before. For the eyes, I am actually going to go in with a bronzer. I'm going to go in with Hoola Bronzer. I just think powder bronzers that you use on your face always look lovely on the eyes. I'm not using the first transition shades I put down just because they are quite warm and I don't want the under eye to look orange. I just want it to look really nice and brown and warm. And I'm going in with this on a Zoeva 234. We're going to go back into the Naked Basics palette and we're going to mix these two brown shades like we did previously. Some people like their lower lash line really smoked out and some people don't. It depends what suits your eye shape. So just do whatever you're comfortable with on here. Right, now I would always say go for black on the waterline. I just think it makes everything look really, really, really smoked out. I really like the Soap and Glory Kohl liner. This is actually my sister's, so sorry Ruth. On every single client I always do a line before I put lashes on, so I would recommend the Maybelline Pot Gel liner if you're confident with using a brush and doing it like that. If you want something a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful, I would recommend the L'Oreal Perfect Slim Super Liner. This is a felt tip, so it's super easy to do a line. The only thing is I wouldn't recommend doing like a wing with this because it's just not black enough, so it's not good for doing a wing. And I'm just going to do a line, like nothing very exciting. Right, now for lashes, I would really recommend getting some Tatty lashes. These lashes are amazing. They last so many times, so you can wear them like 20 times. I normally use styles TL3 or TL4. So these are TL4 here, and they are great. You can see I've used them like a million times. Quickly, I just want to highlight my inner corner. Now, this is actually going to be really annoying, but I'm going to use a Morphe palette because they have the brightest white, this shade here, and that inner corner highlight, honey, is so important. I can't even stress enough how important an inner corner highlight is. It just makes your eyes pop. But yeah, if you don't want to buy a whole palette just for this one shade, because that is ridiculous, I would recommend the I Love Makeup Blushing Hearts Triple Baked Blusher. It is a like blushing highlight. It's like a pink, and basically you just use the white shade and it pretty much does the exact same thing as this. I just love how white this is. It just really makes it a feature of the makeup. So I'm just going to pop my lashes on. It's not very exciting, so I might actually just skip through this part. I just always make sure you use duo glue because duo glue is amazing. Right, I've had to zoom you guys out because I'm losing light because it's a little bit late now, and if I zoom you guys in it gets dark. So I'm sorry that you're so far away. But I'm just using that Maybelline Pot Gel liner. Now my lashes are on and I'm going over the lash band. This is a really important step. I would say do not skip because you don't want to be able to see any glue or anything peeking through. That's like my biggest pet hate. So yeah, I would go over it, and I would recommend the Pot Gel liner for this. And I'm basically drawing another line over top of the lash band. Okay, so now that is on, I am going to just smoke out the eyeliner that I put down just in the corner, just so it doesn't just block stop. So I'm just going to get rid of this bake. Okay, so now for like one of the most important parts in my opinion, the setting spray. I just use the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Oil Control. And this is just really going to help to set everything down, make all the powders sink into your skin so you don't look quite so powdery. So for highlighter, I would actually say this is the Blushing Hearts Triple Baked Blusher from Makeup Revolution. This is the shade I'd recommend to use in your inner corner if you don't want to buy that whole Morphe palette, because that seems a little bit excessive. I am actually going to use the Doll Light Shine Bright highlighter. They also do this in a lighter shade, which is called Like a Diamond, which I love. It isn't expensive at all. It's £10. You can get them online on Beauty Bay, or you can actually get them in Topshop now. So I would say that is pretty affordable. The only thing is they don't sell them in Superdrug or Boots or anything like that. So I just use a fan brush. This is just a Luxe fan brush from Zoeva, the 129. And I just put this around here. Now, you do want a really nice highlight, but I don't think you want to go too over the top, because you don't want to look like a disco ball. And because you need to wear it all day, it needs to be lastable. You don't want to look like a hot, oily mess by the end of it. So I do definitely highlight the skin, but you just don't want to highlight it too much. And just a tiny bit on the chin, not too much, because you don't want a super shiny chin. An alternative to those is the Revolution X Soph Collection highlight. This palette is beautiful. I am actually going to use a little bit of that now. They have the most gorgeous shades in it. It has really nice pink tones. I am going to add a little bit of the pink highlight just on my cheeks as like a blush topper, because a pink blush topper is so stunning on the skin. Oh yeah, this highlight, So I am actually going to go back into that Laura Mercier. I'm just looking at myself in the mirror and I feel like my nose looks a little bit chunky. So I'm just going to bake the sides of my nose really quick just before I set everything once more. So I would definitely say for lipsticks, I would maybe go for a liquid lipstick or something that's gonna last a longer time. So maybe like a matte lipstick. So I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick in Spice. And now I am actually gonna outline my lips as well with MAC Spice lip liner. I'm not gonna do Spice, hold your horses, change your mind. Change my mind. I'm actually going to use Kiss instead, because it's a really nice nude. It's a little bit more of a pinky nude. Spice is a little bit too brown, I think, for this eye. I think this one's a little bit too pink, so I'm actually going to mix the two. Yeah, these two together are where it's at. But yeah, in general, I would really highly recommend the Primark lip glosses. They are phenomenal. They smell good. Yeah, I've preached on about them so much. But I'm going to use Barely Nude, and this is quite a light colour. It's just going to brighten up this lip a little bit. So this is the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you found it helpful. I know I'm very thorough and it probably seems a little bit like I'm bored, but I promise you I'm not. I'm just trying to explain every little step. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed creating this pageant look with me. I think this is perfect for pageants because it's really glam, but I don't think I look super heavy. You know, it's not like some crazy smoky eye. It's like a nice soft, well, it's not soft, but you know what I mean. It's like gold and it's just, it honestly isn't that hard to create, and I know I did say a lot of products. Just get what you can and do what you can do and just try and use the tips. I believe in you. I know you can make it work. And yeah, good luck if you're competing in a pageant. I hope you really enjoy it and I hope you have loads of fun and make loads of friends. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a big thumbs up because it will make me so happy, and the subscribe button is right down there for you to press as well. I think that is everything for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear, like shadows in the atmosphere.
And when you get right to the edges, loosen your grip on the loosen your grip on the blush. Loosen your grip on the I can't say brush. What is wrong with me?